All right, here we are, One Bills Live. Chris Brown, Steve Tasker, and in studio with us, the Hall of Famer Thurman Thomas, who has got to be over the moon about the downhill rushing attack that he witnessed last week against the Raiders. Tell us, Thurm, were you in, like, heaven last week?
What?
Were you in heaven last week watching that?
I just went to the store and bought like 4 James Cook jerseys. I just went to the Bills store and yep, you know what?
Loaded up.
If I had a little bit more time, I probably would have worn one on the set.
Okay.
Because man, well, hey, look, okay, it's the Raiders. They're pretty decent defense. Yeah, it's okay, but you know what? You give it to the guys up front, man, and I can remember I was watching the game, and I kept looking at it like, okay, well, he's getting close to 100 yards. I want to see, because the game was kind of out of control. I wanted to see, like, what is McDermott going to do? What are you going to sit him down or what? I just love the fact that he was out there. He got over 100 yards and came out.
Snapped off a big run.
I was like, this is it. But that gives the offensive line, obviously going to get a little bit tougher throughout the year, but that gives the offensive line some confidence to block on certain plays. I mean, he's great at the draw. That play has worked a lot. But you know what? Look what happened. Josh, 31 or 37. Takes the pressure off.
There's a lot in this because, you know, everybody, we were talking about how Josh was, you know, struggled against the Jets, and it seemed to be his mindset, right? He was trying to win the game on every play and all of that. And then he come out there this week, and totally different mindset.
Oh, absolutely.
Give people your perspective on what it's like to prepare for a game like that when you know you're going to play different.
Oh, well, I'm probably not talking to anybody. I'm just going by my own experience. Leave me alone. I just had a terrible game. Yeah. Don't mess with me. I'm fine. You know what? You go out there. You take an extra rep or two. Mm-hmm. I talk to Elijah Pitts a lot more than I would do. So, a lot of it goes into it. And plus, you know, you do the little things that really get you going. And you know that's the offensive lineman.
When you go in there, like a guy like Josh, he goes in there, he's playing the game that we saw him play on Sunday. Is it – because we were hearing this about, like, Justin Fields today. Like, well, I can't really play free and easy when they got all this stuff. It is a thing when you go out there and play free and easy, but when you go out there and Josh seems like he was thinking his way through that game.
Right.
There is a kind of a balance there, right, between playing free and easy and then playing, I ain't going to do that. I'm going to do this, you know. I'm going to stay disciplined.
I'm going to stay disciplined, and that's why I used, 31 for 37?
Yeah.
That's why, I mean, that was
83%.
83%, and I think he just got named Offensive Player of the Week. So, I mean, there you go. I mean, you talk about the bounce-back game. That's it. Yeah. Obviously, you weren't going against a defense like the Jets, but Josh has been in this situation a couple of times throughout his career where he's played – not up to his expectation and what we expect of him every single week. And look at the little check downs and everything. I mean, everything is on time. Everything is ready. And I guarantee you, last week was probably his best week of practice since training camp.
What about the offense's ability to run it in the red zone? As you know, Thurm, that is a hard place to get consistent gains. Yeah. Even against average defenses, because everything's so tightly packed down there. What was your assessment of the success they had down there, which, you know, helped them go 5 for 7 in the red zone and 4 of 5 in goal-to-go situations?
Well, they got a nice three-headed monster back there.
Yeah.
All those guys really do Murray, Harris, and Cook. They really do a great job of, you know, they know what they are. I mean, you see Murray right there. I mean, I'm going downhill, baby. That's all it is. And I think the offensive linemen know that, hey, I just need to get on a body and let my big running backs in the back, Damon Harris also, do their thing. Mm-hmm. And they know when Cook is back there, it's going to be a little bit different because he's a smaller guy, does a lot of, cuts and everything like that. But when you have these two guys right here, it's downhill, baby. And I think offensive linemen, there's none of that pulling or anything like that. No, it's just man on man, and you try to go get your guy and let those guys pick a hole, which I love to see that Josh was they were in the I formation.
Under center.
Under center, man.
That's been the topic of the week. Yeah.
Oh, has it?
Yeah, more under center. More under center.
And you can still do the play action. You can still do all that. But I think it just gives an opportunity, especially for a guy like James Cook, You can see the cutback. You can see everything from 7 yards. Then you can 5 yards next to the quarterback. That just has always been my opinion. And I think even with the league now, you're seeing more guys get under center.
What did you notice about the play calling? Obviously, the under center stuff you noticed. And when they got it, when they're winning 38-10 or even 31-10, you're thinking, okay, you're going to run the football a lot more anyway. What did you think about Ken Dorsey, the play calling, and how the offense looked, when they put that game away?
Well, I thought it was a waste, so I didn't finish watching it. Kind of.
Wow.
This
one's in the book.
Exactly. I was kind of going back to what last year or two when it was over in the mid-third quarter. I was ready to go. I was kind of out of that and playing with the grandkids.
I got you.
In the
All right.
suite.
We're good.
Yeah, I'm good. I didn't really watch the rest of the game.
Take my word for it. It looked good.
But once again, 12 personnel was a big part of the game plan, and they used it somewhat for protection purposes with Max Crosby over there on Spencer Brown's side, helped him out a little bit when they had to. And obviously 12 personnel is going to be very big for them in the red zone, which it was again for the second week in a row. I'm very curious to see if it becomes their number one personnel grouping, Thurm, because for the last 3 years, maybe even 4, this has been predominantly an 11 personnel team. And 12 is kind of creeping up on 11 here and threatening to take over, and we're only 2 weeks in.
Well, you know what? I think it'll come down to what type of defense that we're playing against too. I think that will play a factor into that. But you know what? When looking at that game, I was at the end of the game, and you look at the stats or whatever, and like, wow, they held the ball for 40 minutes.
Yeah.
When they said 40 and 19, first thing came to my mind was Super Bowl 25.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. So you guys already talked about this?
No, I didn't say. I don't even mention 25.
Oh, I'm not bringing that up.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying that was the first thing. Well, I will, because
exactly.
Well, you can.
Exactly what we
you
went
can.
Through. It's exactly what you went through.
Yeah, and so I was like, oh man, and they did it a lot with 12 coming up there. So instead of playing 11 all the time. So yeah, I like that now you give defenses a little different look. They're going to have to adjust to you because you're doing it well. And so we'll see what happens against Washington. I don't know where Washington's defense is ranked right now.
They're 10th overall,
yeah.
17th in points allowed.
Yeah. So you know what? The atmosphere for the Commanders is probably real high right now. Sam Howell's the quarterback,
Yeah,
right?
well, they're 2-0, yeah.
2-0. You got the new ownership coming in.
It's new energy there.
It's new energy there, yeah. And I think Magic Johnson brings a lot of energy to wherever he goes and to whatever he gets involved into. So it'll be a different matchup. Could very well be like the Raiders. I think they're a 4-3 football team, right?
They are. The only difference is they got first-round picks across the front. Montez Sweat, Jonathan Allen.
Sweat got 3 sacks.
Deron Payne and
yeah.
Chase Young.
Yeah.
That's their front
got
four.
some guys.
That's their front four.
They're all first-round picks.
Well, we got some veteran guys.
Yeah.
And let's see who wins the
Yeah.
battle.
They got 7 sacks this last. They're number 2 in sacks per attempt.
Okay.
But they're in the middle of the pack right now, passing yards, rushing yards, total yards, kind of thing. So, but last year they were top 5 in about all of them.
Right.
And they were the best third down defense in football last year. The Bills were the best third down offense. That's going to be a fun matchup.
That's going to be a fun matchup.
But I think for the Bills, we were talking about this. They got to stay in third and less than 5 rather than third and 10.
No, they can't go 10 plus. Yeah, because that's when those guys are really.
Yeah.
That's when those guys are really tee off. But I think this team right now. You look at them. Obviously, the first week didn't go the way, and they came out and showed everybody who they are.
Right.
Who they really are. So now,
yeah.
their confidence is sky high right now. So, hey, last time we were on the road, you know what? We got beat. Let's go down there and do something against Washington.
Yeah, so the passing game, Thurm, 9 different players catch footballs from Josh. How much more difficult does that make the Bills' offense to prepare for if you're the Washington defense when you see that many people getting involved?
Yeah.
I mean, they scored 5 touchdowns last week. None of them were named Diggs.
Right, I know, right? Yeah, so.
Does that make it more difficult to prepare for?
I think so, too, because now you're like, okay, do we double this guy now? Do we double and take a chance on him? Because if we double him, Diggs, this could lead for a huge day for Diggs.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think it'll be tough for him, really, to try to figure it out. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this offense evolves and because right now Dalton Kincaid's kind of been under the radar.
Yeah.
But if he stays on the pace he's at, he'll shatter the rookie tight end record for NFL.
Yeah.
I mean, history. And that's the way they're using him right now.
Mm-hmm.
Possession receiver, just what we thought. Possession receiver, get a first down, make some
He's getting reps, too.
And he's getting a lot of time on the field, which I think is just as important as anything. Even if they don't target him, give him 20 targets a game or even 10 targets a game, getting him out there and getting him used to being an NFL player is huge for a first-year guy.
Because he's an athletic guy. He can move very well. So I don't think they're kind of worried about, well, he's not in this passing play or this running play or he's on the backside of it. I think just the fact that, he's an agile guy that's very athletic, great ability, and he needs to be out there to see all these different things right now because, as you see from the first 2 games, he's going to be out in the field a lot. And I don't know if that's going to be at the wide receiver or the tight end, but he's going to be in a lot. And his head is probably kind of spinning right now, but they're kind of like taking it slow with him. Let's not put him in every passing route.
Right.
So I think right now they're just getting him adjusted for the long haul because he's going to be out there a lot.
Another guy that's going to be out there a lot, who we already talked about, is Cook. I don't know about you, but it seemed to me like it was easy for James to get the corner on a lot of those runs, whether he bounced them outside or they were designed to go out there. And I'm doing the broadcast saying to myself, I was saying it on the broadcast, I was like, I feel like Las Vegas is like underestimating his speed because their angles of entry were so poor. They were getting completely outflanked by James, who was getting to the corner every time.
Yeah.
Is that just bad defense, or is James just that fast? I know he ran a 4.42 at the combine.
Yeah, I think that could be a combination of both. Okay. Bad defense. Guys just
all right, well, I like that answer.
Guys just not setting the edge. Guys just not setting the edge.
I couldn't figure it out.
And so, yeah. It
was the whole game.
Yeah.
They never adjusted.
Maybe they don't have the personnel to make that adjustment.
Maybe not. That's a good point.
I mean, you can go throughout the history. I mean, not the history, but their roster right now, and you look at the guy behind him and be like, huh? Who? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You wouldn't even know who he was. So I think that's kind of inexperience on their part. Hey, look, we've played in this league a long time. Sometimes, man, it's also great to have that veteran out there, even if he's not what he used to be, because he can design, he can sniff out a play. He can
what he's not going to do.
Right. He say, look, I'm at the age now where, you know what, I got to set the edge. I have to set the edge. I can't let this guy, that's all I got to do. And I think some of these younger guys just don't
even have to make the tackle, just set the edge.
You're right there. You got 3 guys that were inside the numbers, even though Cook broke it in the inside, but they were right there just looking. So we'll, I think this offensive line going to get better and better as the year goes along.
Yeah, it's interesting, too, because they're playing a team that most people they kind of think they're the Washington Redskins of the past 6 or 7 years, but since week 6 of last year, they're 9-4-1.
Yeah.
They are winning games.
They're winning games.
They're winning twice as many games as they're losing, and they're playing well. And Ron Rivera, got to give Ron Rivera really a lot of credit. He got his 100th win as an NFL head coach last week.
That's not.
And that's a milestone.
Yeah.
That's big. So this is going to be a game that on the road in a new invigorated fan base down in Washington with a new ownership and all of that. This is not the Washington Redskin team we've seen for the last decade.
No, and watch for Logan Thomas too.
Oh yeah, that's right. Former Bill.
We talk back and forth. Watch him. I mean, actually, since he left for the Bills and been with the Reds, he's been playing pretty well.
He's been playing well for them.
He's been playing really,
I can't
really
believe
well
he's in his 10th year.
Right, me too.
He's been around that long.
I looked at that this morning. I was like, oh my God, he's in his 10th year. But he's been playing the last kind of when he got shipped out of here and went to Washington, or might have went somewhere before that. He's been playing really, really well. So I'm just
he found a spot there.
He found a spot,
and they gave him an opportunity that he could exploit. And it was, the right opportunity at the right time of his career where it clicked for him and he could make some things happen, and then all of a sudden it expanded and he kept it's just it takes a long time for some guys to find a spot where they can exploit the opportunity.
Geno Smith.
Right.
Prime example.
Right.
It took him 10 years.
It takes
to find a spot.
Yeah, but also he never got a chance. I mean, he's not going to play ahead of Russ.
No.
But you got to hang in there, and it's hard. That's as hard as anything, man. You got to turn into a pro.
Yeah, because you don't want your career to be over just yet.
Right. And finally, when somebody says, "All right, you're going to be in, you're going to play," and you finally get in there, and say, "Okay," and you catch the pass, and you string them together, and all of a sudden, wow, let's, here's some more.
Somebody really believes in him.
There's nothing like
not that
man.
they didn't believe in him here when he was with the Bills, but he just got to a different.
What?
I mean, Ron Rivera was a head coach. I mean, just everything just kind of fit for them.
It's amazing too.
Yeah,
it's great to see it for guys. Yeah. Whether they're on your team or not, when you understand what they've been through and the fact that some little switch just went the other way rather than getting flipped off. It got flipped on, and there it is.
We'll have to see if he's available this week because he did leave that game and went into the protocol, I think, for a concussion on a touchdown catch. He caught it and then stayed down after he caught it. So we'll have to see what their Wednesday injury report looks like. Thurman, I know Bijan Robinson's taken the league by storm after just 2 games, but the Washington Commanders have a Robinson as well. Brian Robinson is kind of more of a hammer type back. Have you seen enough of him to kind of have an opinion on him?
Haven't seen him, but hey, get ready, Bernard. 15 tackles because they're going to run it, right?
6'1", 225.
That's a lot. That's a load right there. That's almost like Murray. Well, Murray's what?
230.
230.
He's 6'3".
It's like tackling it's like for Bernard, it's like tackling himself. That's his size.
Yeah,
it's
that's his
tackling
size.
your twin. So at least it's not like Derrick Henry or somebody.
Yeah, I mean,
but
he's coming downhill.
He's coming downhill. Yeah, I haven't seen any highlights of him. Sure,
I think he's got 2 or 3 touchdowns already, 1 receiving, by the way.
Okay.
So he is capable out of the backfield as a pass catcher as well. But they'll roll those guys through there like they do with most teams. But Robinson is the featured guy, quote unquote. Feature back now is not what it used to be. I don't have to tell you that.
He's part of a committee.
Yeah, that's right. What do you think of committee?
I don't like him.
Because
I do.
Here's the thing, Thurm. No, I mean I think we would all agree that it is completely a passing league now.
Yeah.
And so running backs do have to have a diverse skill set if they want to stay on the field, number one. But number two, they're running less than maybe they ever have before on average across the league. And yet there are more backs than ever populating offensive backfields through the course of a game. Yeah. And it's not because of any kind of specialization that we used to see. Kenny Davis comes out, for you to give you a break here or there. Or there's other teams that have a third down back or a scat back or whatever you want to call it. Nowadays, it's just, we got 3 guys, we're going to roll them through. Whoever happens to be out there when we're calling a run play, so be it. Like, there doesn't seem to be as much dedicated rhyme or reason to who is on the field at a particular time.
Yeah, it is definitely not delegated to one guy anymore. It's 2 or 3 guys. And, being at that position now, it's I have a hard time watching it occur throughout the game because I look at a guy like James Cook, like I want to get into a rhythm when I'm out there. I know this is your system. I know this is how we do things, but in order for me to be at my best, I need to be out there for 10 plays in a row.
Because here's the thing.
I don't need to be out there on first down and come back on a second down. I need to get into a rhythm.
I know what you mean.
Take that rhythm a step further, though, Thurm, because I think people hear that all the time, but I don't know if they know what that means. So what are the advantages that give you or put you in that rhythm against the defense that you're facing? Like, spell it out for me. Are you able to set up defenders better? What's the checklist as to why you're in a better rhythm when you're out there?
I'm able to do a checklist of who's in the game. Is there an extra linebacker in the game? Is there an extra DB in the game?
Yeah.
Do I know if there's an extra linebacker in the game? Okay, well, that extra linebacker or defensive end might be used up by the tight end, Pete Metzelaars. If you have a DB in there, all of a sudden, Pete Metzelaars is not going to be blocking that DB. It could be a wide receiver. So you put all those factors in it. You see they're in 4 down, 2, 4 bad,
4-2-5,
4-2-5, right?
Yeah,
things change, but you know what? When you're running plays, they're changing because you're in there.
That's the thing. That rhythm you're talking about, you get into the rhythm with what their coaching staff is doing against your offense, so you're understanding the nuances of the defensive changes and their mindset and how it's changing. And then you hear the play call and you're thinking, okay, now I got this, and here's what this is what we're going to do against this. You know what I mean? So you can stay a half a step ahead while knowing the short-term memory of what happened in the last couple of plays and set up and how they've changed because you've been strumming them or or else if you haven't been strumming them, they're doing really well and they ain't changing. So now it's like, okay, we tried this.
Two technique now.
Here we go. Right. You are up to speed with where both coaching staffs are adjusting to each other. Where if you come off the field, you got to wait and watch and see what the play's going to be.
It's not the same as looking at the pictures on the sideline. And
no, it's not.
So plus the guys around you are the same way. You know, they're staying in the offensive linemen are staying in the field. You hear their conversations and you know. So you're just more and further down that rabbit hole of being immersed in what's going on in the strategy of that game.
Yeah.
And if you come in and out, you're deprived of that a little bit.
At
least a little bit.
And like if you're coming in and out, you're gonna be like, oh, who they bringing in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's fair. 10 seconds, Thurm. Do you like the chances here on the road this week?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I think that Jets game, it's out of the way. We got a first victory. Yeah, NFC team on the road.
Off and running.
And they're wearing the whites, man.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Oh, that looks so nice.
Yeah. All right, Thurm. Well, thanks for popping in.
Absolutely.
We'll catch up with you next week.